Hello Steelers and welcome to another Bench Report hobby update. First one in a couple of weeks because last weekend obviously was Easter weekend and also my wife was home from Austria, so I had some time off. Just thought I wanted a break anyway. But what's happened is it means that I've actually been able to paint quite a lot. But before I talk about painting, I just want to say if you are watching this and you're one of the 75 to 80% of people who watch this without subscribing, please do hit the subscribe button. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, any of my new videos will come up in your newsfeed on YouTube, so you'll see the new ones. It won't just recommend old ones for you, it'll show you the fresh stuff. And also it just helps my channel out as well. It just helps the analytics, it just helps the growth of the channel and the fact that YouTube will recognise that people are interested in the channel. So please just subscribe if you're not, and I know a lot of you aren't. It costs you nothing, so and it just helps out the channel and the channel growth. If you want to see me carry on doing this stuff, then hit that subscribe button. Okay, that's the adverts out of the way. Let's go on to the stuff you're here for. And this is largely the stuff that I've been painting this week. Well, last fortnight, in fact. As I say, my wife has been here, so I've not been able to do as much as I was able to because we were running about a lot. Things happening here that are under the radar at the moment, but we'll come back to that at some point in the future, I'm sure. However, painting wise, first things I painted were these Barricades. These were actually designed by Keith Jordan over on the Through the Mud and the Blood Facebook group. We had a massive influx of members to that the other week actually, which was great. Welcome to everybody. But Keith had designed these. I sent the prints, the STLs over to Paul at Sabotage, and he very kindly printed them for me. And I painted these very simply, very easily. Lots of wood colours. That's pretty much it. These are perfect, pretty much from everything from late 19th century through to late 20th century. Really, they've got oil drums in them. So oil drums only came in about 1904. I think that's when they were invented. So any time after that, really. But they will work perfectly. Also as well, I've got some farm scatter as well from Paul over at Sabotage. I was actually going to just stick some of this stuff into some of my existing buildings just to give them a bit of life, but I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a lot of this stuff separate. Because I ordered What a Cowboy as well last week, which I'll be picking up at Salute, more of that later. But I thought this is great for Old West scenery. I mean, it's great for any kind of scenery. Again, it'll stretch from 1850 to 1950 quite easily. So I might put a couple of bits and pieces on some bases, but as it stands, I'm just going to leave them as they are, so they can be thrown around just to create a bit of scatter terrain in an Old West town, or even a 1944 town, or a 1918 town as well. So that was good. I got those done. The other big thing that I worked on, and that I'd been working on for a while, is a couple of mine craters. Now these are for Through the Mud and the Blood, or for Cocking Up the Mud and the Blood, or even any First World War game. They could be used, to be honest, these ones are 15mm scale, but they could be quite easily used for any other scale as well. You can do them at 28mm, you can do them for 6mm, if you get them smaller, you can do them for 10mm, whatever, and everything in between. I wanted to make a couple of mine craters, so because they were a feature of the First World War, underground mining, and they are still scars in the landscape, and they were then as well. And it also gave me a chance to try out some resin pouring as well. I'm quite happy with it turned out. It's not perfect, but I'm quite happy with it turned out. I have actually, or I'm in the midst of making a video about the smaller of the two mine craters. So that will come out at some point. I've just written the script for that. It's all filmed, it just needs to be voiced over and then also edited. It'll take a little while, but it's we're part way there. Writing the script is generally the hardest part of these things. But then continuing the theme of the First World War, I also did these shell craters as well. These are from the Early War Miniatures range, their Scenics range. These are really dead cheap. I've been meaning to paint these for ages. I've had them for a while. I also did some of the reinforced shell craters as well, also from Early War Miniatures. I did run out of resin on Saturday. I was hoping some would come through in the post. It hasn't done yet, so I was only able to fill half of the shell craters. I'll finish the rest off when I get a chance at some point in the future, or well, when the resin appears, probably on Monday, I would have thought now. But they're done. I've already got loads of these anyway. These are great for scatter terrain for the First World War and even the Second World War. Dead cheap, nice fact formed. Go and have a look. It's early war miniatures. They also do the reinforced shell craters as well, which you can see, which are really nice as well. I already got I got 2 packs of these, I think, so quite a lot of these. And then also, again, staying with that First World War theme, you may remember a while ago I actually bought a Early Wars miniatures trench system. I've had one for bits of it for a while, and I bought this is a defensive position that they do, which is like a double trench line basically dug in, and it's quite separate. So you could just buy this and stick this down on the table. This is a really nice piece. And once again, I've also done a painted video for this and for the shell craters as well. So I've yet to write the scripts or do any of those bits, but they are the process is filmed, so it's just they'll be out in a couple of months. There's quite a lot, like I say, quite a lot of work to do on those, but I've just gone through the process of doing them. Really nice to paint as well, really good fun, really enjoyable. So I did those over the week. And then also, just to keep my hand in the Far East, I painted these Type 97 Chiha. These are 15mm. These are 3D printed. Richard Hogg sent these over, so once again, thank you massively, Richard, for the tanks. Really, really appreciate that. And I just thought I'd paint these up, try out the 3-tone camo that the 4-tone camo that the Japanese had in the early part of the war. It's a bit of fun. I haven't done a painting video on these, I'm afraid, but if Richard does send me some more Japanese tanks, I might do it at some point. He said he's going to, so you know, fingers crossed. No pressure, Richard, no pressure though, because I do appreciate it. Speaking of Malaya, in the post I have had quite a few things. The first big thing is this lot. This came through from Paul at Sabotage. I don't know if you can see in the box here. These are 1/600 scale aircraft, and these are all specifically for Malaya. These were designed by Jim Muir, who did, if you remember, the old First World War aircraft that I did for Algie Pulsey Top. He's designed a ton of stuff for Malaya. He's passed them over to Paul at Sabotage, who hasn't got them on his website, but says he is prepared to print them for people because Jim has given the go ahead from what I can tell. He's prepared to print them, so go and talk to Paul about it, and he'll do you a good deal, I'm fairly sure. But he did me tons of these things. I've just got to go through and sort them out. So we've got Brewster Buffaloes, we've got Hurricanes with the tropical engines on them, we've got loads of Kates, Oscars, Bettys, you name it, they're all in there. I even went as far as getting some Zeros as well, simply because you can't have Japanese Imperial Navy aircraft without having Zeros. There were none over Malaya, but you know, I'm going to twist it a little bit because I've got to have Zeros. So they probably won't take a great deal of time to paint up, to be honest, because they are so small. I'm currently looking for 1/600 scale decals at the moment, so I'm going to get some of those. That's the next thing. And Paul also printed a ton of bases as well for me, which we kind of co-designed together. This is his old design, but I just wanted a few other bits. So they've got space for a 7mm dice. They've got a number on them, so each of the aircraft can be numbered. This is for Bag the Hun, of course. They're a 1-inch hex, so they'll go on my 1-inch hex. And also they have a space here for a metal rod, which I've got coming through eBay at the moment. That's why I haven't started these. And he's also done a tiny hole in the bottom of each of the planes, so I can attach the rods to them as well. So perfect stuff there. So once again, thank you, Paul, very much for that. Why did I go 1/600? Simply because I like the 1/300 scale aircraft, but for Bag the Hun, because they're Second World War, they're just slightly too big for the 1-inch hexes I use. So these will be perfect, they'll sit perfectly in scale. I like 1/300 for the First World War stuff because they're a lot smaller in general. But when you've got a GM, or whatever they call, Betty, and it's taken up like 5 or 6 hexes in 1/300, having it at this scale, at this size, is far, far better, I think. That's just why. I know a lot of other people play Bag the Hun in 1/600 as well. Some of the guys at the club do as well, so we can mix and match quite a few of our units nicely. But I'm not expecting they're going to take a huge amount of time, but I think it's going to be one of the big projects of this year now, is just getting those done. So I'll be working on those, and you'll see those as they come along. Also, as well, earlier in the post, I got from Green Stuff World, I got some of the bushes. I've not done anything with these yet. This is tall shrubbery. I got them in 3 different colours, or a dark green, a mid green, and then also a light green as well. I got these from really good service. Came across from Spain, I think. And I got these because you'll remember I bought the Fat Frank hedges a little while ago. And I noticed that decks on his Fat Frank hedges, he'd actually just put a few shrubs in and a few tufts here and there. The Fat Frank hedges are fantastic as they are, but they are basic just hedges. So just to add a little few shrubs here and there, just to break up the shape of them a little bit and make them a bit more individual, is kind of what I wanted to do with them. So that's what I'm going to do with those. Again, that's going to be like a bit of a long, it probably won't take very long to do, but I've just got to sit down and do it basically. I just haven't yet. I mentioned it already, I actually bought the pre-order bundle of excuse me, What a Cowboy from Two Fat Lardies, which will be released next Saturday at Salute, which I'm going to, I'll talk about that in a second, and I'm going to pick it up there. I was hoping Richard would send out a preview copy for me, but no such luck. They've all gone to Australia. But because of that, I bought some 15mm Cowboys, and these have come from Blue Moon. So you can get these over at Blue Moon UK, I think it is. 16 quid for 30 odd Cowboys in 15mm. You'll never need another Cowboy again, really. They have quite a nice range over at Blue Moon. And I have started on these. I've just 6 of them I've just undercoated. I might paint some of these later today, but just making a start on them. They've got other bits and pieces like townsfolk and stuff like that, and I thought if I'm going to do What a Cowboy, I want to do it relatively cheaply. So I've got these. I've also ordered from Sarissa their 50mm Cowboy Town, and I'm picking that up from Salute anyway next week. So I'm saving £5 on the postage from there, but I'm paying over £100 on the train to get down to Salute. So you work it out. I'm saving on postage. So that's what I'll be picking up at Salute next week anyway. And then, speaking of buildings, Adam over at Tabletop Studios over in Sweden sent me this box full of stuff here. I'm not going to go too much into these because I've actually made a video for this. He is working on a brand new range of buildings. You may remember I did he sent me a load of Normandy buildings. They were really big. These ones were a lot smaller. I've made a box opening video for these, and just to show you what's in there. He's got some new releases coming up. He says he's working towards a deadline currently of the start of May. So my video will come out as soon as his stuff is available on the website. So keep an eye out for that, which is a good reason to subscribe, as I said at the start. But so that's going to be something that's coming up. I'm not going to show you them here just because simply, I want to keep them secret for now, but they turned up on Saturday. Oh no, on Friday in fact. So that was really nice to come through. I've said already I'm going to go down to Salute next Saturday. I'm away for a conference for the latter part of the week, and then I'm going to head down to Salute on Saturday morning. I was going to go down Saturday night and stay over, but because I'm away for the week, I didn't want to be away for 3 days and then have to go away for another day as well. So I'm going to get down there. I think my train is at 6:30. Get me down about 9:30. A couple of reasons I'm going. First of all, I am obviously going to be picking up What a Cowboy and also the Sarissa Wild West Town, but I'm also going to be filming it as well, so look out for a show report, and if you do see me down there, say hello, please do. But also I'm helping out with Joe Bilton as well on his Chain of Command game, and if you've ever seen any of the photos of his game that he put on at Hearts of Lard and various other places, you'll be in for a treat. It looks amazing. Massive table and tons of details on those buildings, and he's a really good terrain maker. So I'm going to be helping for the morning at least. I'm going to be helping him out, taking people through Chain of Command. So once again, come over, say hello, get involved, come and have a game with us, and we'll have a laugh. And then in the afternoon I'm going to head around and do some filming and grab some interviews with whoever's around, if they're there and they want to chat about things. So that's my plans for next Saturday. That's what I'm looking forward to. It Salute's always a good show. However, that said, I've been to Salute a few times now. That said, I think on reflection I probably prefer Partisan. which again is also coming up in May, which I'm really looking forward to. But also that's because the last salute I went to was the cut down version, which was the post-COVID one. So this one is their 50th, so I'm expecting quite a lot from it, and I think it's going to be quite a big show. So I'm really looking forward to that. And as I say, if you see me, say hello. We'll have a chat. I'm going to be there all day, so early doors till late doors, I think. And then finally, just the other thing that I've been doing this week really is I've just been listening to a new to me podcast, which is called Rules of Carnage. It's Mike Hutchinson and I forget his name, Glenn Ford, two guys who worked on Gaslands and Billion Suns, the Osprey games. I'm a big fan of Gaslands. I really like it. It's a great game. It's just fun, mayhem. And it's interesting. It's an interesting podcast. If you haven't heard it, go and check it out. It's on Spotify. They're also on YouTube as well. And they just talk about game design, really. It's quite interesting to hear what their takes on it as people who write war games. There's a few things I'm kind of pulling my hair out in frustration sometimes when they're talking about certain things. And I just think, just look at these rules here, you know. But you can't cover everything, you can't know everything, but they are a very good podcast. I'll put a link to the podcast in the description down below, as with some of these other things as well. But go and check them out. They're a little. They seem to be a little bit tied up with Games Workshop and Malifaux for some reason, but you know, don't hold that against them. I certainly don't. It's a good listen, and I have really been enjoying their podcasts for the last few days. In fact, I've just been catching up with all this stuff. As I say, I'm always interested in what happens underneath the car bonnet, so to speak, with game design and mechanics and things like that. And I just how do designers get to those particular decisions at the end of it. All right, I shall wrap up there. You've probably heard enough from me at this point. I'll say once again, you know, do please subscribe if you're interested. Check out Patreon as well, and also check out channel membership, because all of the money that I make in this channel actually goes back into producing videos. So it all helps out. However, obviously you still get stuff for free anyway. But you'll get ad-free and early access to videos as a Patreon and a channel member. But I won't push it anymore. I'll just say thank you very much for watching as always, and wait for the next Storm of Steel video.